Hey guys, I'm Lance, and this is Fire Alarm Help. And this video is about what is it like to do fire alarm? What is it like to have a career in fire alarm? So the first thing to talk about is essential. Being in fire alarm is essential. For the past couple of years, some people have stayed home for some reason. I did not. I got to do work things outside. So if there's if your career options are uncertain about, do I have to, if this happens again, whatever, something to note. Being essential is nice. Next, being in fire alarm, you got to have morals and ethics. You got to have a pretty strong no muscle. And what I mean is, when I got my fire alarm license in Texas, which this is not Texas, take a look at my green screen. It's kind of cool. My green screen has cars, so be cool. I got my fire license in Texas. At the very end, and it's been a minute, guys, so bear with me, but at the very end it says, now that you've passed this test, you can never in a court of law say you didn't know, or something like that. So basically, you have to know the code and do it right. So, gosh, everyone's seen the news where woman pulls pull station and says it doesn't work. Well, don't let that be you. I could really talk on this topic for a long time, but you got to be able to stick to your code. You got to stick to your morals. So let's see. So let's talk about ways into fire alarm. If you're thinking about doing it, how do you get in? What do you do? So there's basically 3 paths to getting into a fire company. You can be a helper, where you do construction things, you help inspectors, you help techs, you help people, and you learn and you do tools and outdoor things, blue collar work, right? Construction stuff. Then there's an inspector, which really, now that I'm really thinking about it, an inspector needs a license. So I don't think you can just jump into inspection. So you're a helper. You're screw that. You're a helper. The other path is an estimator. Let's say you're never going to do blue collar things. You're never going to use tools. Well, you want to be into sales. So you become an estimator, where you aren't smart enough to sell it. You don't know enough to sell it, but you are an estimator, which is basically a salesperson's helper. They tell you, hey, I don't have time. I'm bidding these 10 projects. Please take these prints and count how many horn strobes it has, how many, that you count things and you estimate, things, and you hand it off to the salesperson. Normally you're hourly at that point. And you make pretty much in the helper range. That depends. So next, let's go over the positions, and then we'll go over roughly what the positions make. Roughly. I had to talk to a few different people, and it depends on where you are in the country, things like that. So that's a tough one. But the positions, there's helper. You help things, you help people, you help inspectors, you do construction-y stuff. Then there's tech. You've been a helper for a while. You get your fire alarm license. You become a technician. There's a couple for the helper and technician route. There's pretty much fast track, which is small buildings, quick turnarounds. McDonald's. You wire something, you trim it, you inspect it, whatever. It's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month tops. Like it's quick. Then there's new construction, and those boys are the marathon runners or girls. It's 6 months, a year. It's every day. It's a grind. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Fast track's a sprint. Work hard, play hard kind of thing. New construction is every day. It starts to actually, it starts to get at you. So that's helper and techs. Then there's service techs. Service techs are pretty much cowboys. They've done it all, they've seen it all, or they think they've seen it all, and they're normally the highest license. In reality, it's you have to be able to show up to a place, and you've never seen this weird brand before ever, and you have to fix it. And they stopped training on it in the 70s, that kind of thing, and you gotta be able to figure it out. So service techs normally are like, even if you're a good this or good that, normally you have to be a little special to get into service. Service. So they're kind of the cowboys. They kind of do what they want because they're that good kind of people. They're normally the best. Then there's inspectors. Inspectors just inspect things. And inspectors really range from, I pull pull station, it go off, oh, it no go off, fail, to a super nice at ex service guy who hurt his hand, who doesn't want to do that nonsense anymore and just wants to do something easy and inspect stuff. It can really, it can go all over the place. Inspectors, normally, and just guys forgive me, but normally it's just of someone that doesn't really know what they're doing, that just tests stuff. And it can go all the way up to, hey, I'm inspecting the IRS building and they have to have a nice at 3. So, because I'm doing that. Anyway, then there's project management, and there's new construction project management, which you control your life. If you can plan well enough ahead in the future, your life can be great. You suck at planning, you shouldn't be a project manager because your life's going to suck. You're going to put out fires every day with, GC's calling you saying, where are your guys? Let me pull these guys and move them over here. So it's just, you got to be able to plan. Then there's service manager. Really, that's, your service guys are good, so you don't have to hound them as hard, but you're a service manager, kind of thing. A lot of paperwork, a lot of how the reports, how they performance, things like that. Really, you're there to give your guys what they need so they can perform as a service manager. Then there's office stuff, estimator, sales, and an estimator, like we talked about, is a salesperson's helper. They learn the sales stuff. Then there's sales, and sales is kind of cool because fire alarm, every single building has to have fire alarm, and it has to have it working to stay open. So it's not like someone's coming up saying, oh, I'm kind of curious about this motorcycle. I like this motorcycle, and you're selling motorcycles. Well, they don't need it. But fire alarm, no one knows the codes, no one knows any of that. So you're filling a need. It's nice. You don't have to cold call, or you're just filling a need. It's kind of it's nice where you can even talk to GCs and be like a general contractor, and be like, hey, have you found anyone for the fire alarm? They'll be like, oh no, you can really. It's nice. It's nice to not have to cold call kind of thing. You're filling a need. And then there's a whole off-topic route where you can get in totally separate, or you can, whatever. It's a designer. You design the fire alarm plans, you draw them, you design it. And I've known people that have gotten in not from doing fire alarm things, like it's helpful, but you can go from, I've been in the field forever and I want to get out of the field and have an office and design things. You can go from that to, whatever, but you got to be computer savvy and you got to be able to design stuff, CAD, things like that. Got to know codes, got to be smart. Typical hours for all the positions. Helpers and technicians, typically 7 to 3:30, 8 to 4:30 or whatever. That's all normal construction stuff. Then inspectors, they can be 7 to 3:30, they can be 9 to 5, they can be all over the place. Now the thing about inspections though is sometimes you have to test the noises, the lights and the sounds, the strobes. And sometimes they say you can't do that unless it's Sunday. You can't do that unless it's 6 a.m. You can't do that unless it's after 4. So sometimes it's typical for inspections where you can inspect 90% of it normal 8 to 5, 7 to 3:30. But then, you've got to stay late, or you got to be early one day to do all the noise. So that's inspections. So you just know that going into it. Service, same way. Service is normally a set, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes we got to be early or got to be late or whatever. So just know that. Project management, you work all the time. I'm kidding, but not kidding. So, you're normally salary and you're always got your phone on you, that kind of thing. Estimator, pretty much your 9 to 5 office, whatever. You help the salespeople. You have no real total commitment at this stage. Then there's sales, and you can go all over the place. You can be strict this time to this time and take some calls, or you can work all the damn time. And it's 9 o'clock and I'm grilling steaks and I'm on the phone. It can be all kinds of stuff. Designer, you are strict, whatever, and you have to really justify overtime. It's kind of tough. So let's talk about some big companies and small companies for a second. So depends on you're getting into fire alarm. You think you can do it, so do I go with this little mom and pop thing, or do I go with whatever? So small companies typically do crazy summers, schools, apartments, things like that. Big companies will do hospitals, high rises, winter stuff. And what I mean is if you do a school, you're a small company doing an elementary school. Well, that school's got to be done by when school starts. Otherwise, you can't go to school. The kids can't go to school. And so the summer is crazy. But then the winter can be dead. The winter can be a little slow. You're getting strictly 40 hours. But the summer, you can work as hard as you can work, you can get it. So like a big company, they might not be going for a little school, but they might be going for this high rise, and that picks up in the winter, you know. So during the summer it's slow, but the winter it picks up. So really talk to whoever you're applying with and interviewing with about when is your cream of the crop? When is it crazy? When is it not crazy? Oh, there's dogs. Anyway, yeah, talk to them and that kind of thing. And then also you are important. You kind of have that vibe of being important. And what I mean is the building can't open without you. It can't stay open without you. So the first thing you do when you show up to a job site for the first time is you go to the GC, the general contractor, and you go get their number, and they get your number. A good GC will want to know who you are. You're like, hey, I'm Lance. I'm doing the fire alarm. I'm not the project manager, but I'm the guy. And every few days he'll talk to you and be like, you know, what, Lance, what do you need? How are the electricians? How is the power? How is everything going? Can I help you? And you're like, well, actually, John, James, whoever, I need the ceiling guy to chill because I'm not done in this area. If you guys cover me up, it's going to slow me down. And he'll be like, gotcha, dude. And he'll it's crazy. A good GC will work with you. And then on the service side, like I actually had a call today where the program showed 5 power supplies and the maintenance guy only knew of 3. So I told him, hey, I need to get access to these other 2. I don't know where they are. He's like, I don't know where they are. And I'm like, well, we're at an impasse. I can't fix it. And he makes calls and, they suddenly can figure it out, So you can kind of be that guy. It's not like I've done nurse call before, right? Like access control, or let's say nurse call. Let's go back to nurse call. You show up and they're like, well, the equipment's over there. Good luck. Let me know when you're done. But fire alarm, it's, all right, dude, take me to your equipment. Oh, I don't know where it is. Well, then shit. Do you want me to come back? So there's that. You're important. It's kind of cool. The fire alarm, building can't open without you, so that's some stress, but you're important. Don't let it go to your head. And then, yeah, guys, that's really it. That's what it's like to be in the fire alarm. You'll never be super rich, but you'll make good money. It's a good thing, and it kind of, it's kind of nice. I like it. But anyway, I'm Lance with Fire Alarm Help, and you guys have a good day. Thanks.